Good morning. So today I wanted to do what I'd mentioned at the end of the prior video, which was to go in and look at configuring some of those additional windows that the game allows. From the game perspective, when I'm recording the game, you've seen me kind of expand on that, and when I click on it, just that screen pops up. So that's what I want to experiment with. Now, so that you can see kind of the configuration and setup of it, I'm recording all but about 8 inches of my desktop. So it's going to look a little wide, and I'll have to zoom in on certain parts of the screen when I'm configuring it, and then I'll flip back to the game. I know when I'm using the hotkeys to pan the in-game monitors, it works like a transition, so it's not as bad when I'm flipping back and forth between different displays, but when you use the other additional windows, it doesn't do that. It just kind of cuts over to it and kind of reformats the screen. So I have a feeling there's going to be a bit of a learning curve on some of this for both myself as well as how to edit some of these things on YouTube to make them look okay. We'll see how it works. But at the very least, this is another way that you can play the game if you have multiple monitors at your disposal. And it may make aspects of it a lot easier. Because for me, in Tower 3D Pro, the prior game, having all of my necessary monitors up on one screen made it very easy for me to pay attention to everything while at the same time producing a reasonable YouTube video for people to enjoy and kind of see everything that's going on. Whereas now I'm constantly having to hit the hotkeys to look at different monitors, which isn't quite right, because in a real situation, you don't have the monitor taking up your whole peripheral. You have one monitor taking up a portion of it, and I wouldn't have to lean in so far that the monitor is blocking out, so just one visual. I can still see my aerial radar, my ground radar, my strips. Yes, if I look down at my strips, I can still, out of the top of my eyes, see portions of the ground radar. So I may see a plane pull up to the bottom of a runway and go, okay, yep, you need to go. Whereas in the last game, I believe most of my errors came from me failing to hand planes off to departure. And I used a lot of the aerial radar view to see that. In this time, I was quickly flipping over to see where my arrivals were so that I could pull them in and give them clearance to land. And because there was such a tight window to get them off the ground and the next plane on the ground, I wasn't paying as much attention to the departures. Now that's 100% on me. That is totally my fault. But I feel that by being able to see things in a more realistic manner, I'll be able to better control those areas. So that's kind of the plan for this video. So with that said, let me cut the camera down a little bit, and you can see my desktop as I'm recording it now. Again, I'm recording all but about 8 inches on the very edges, just because I don't want to make this as wide as it could possibly be. You can see I've got Eli Grimm's call sign information tool in case I need it. I'm going to stuff that a little farther off to the side. And now let's launch the game. Let's jump back into LaGuardia. We're going to do METAR. We're going to leave everything the exact same, going off on runway 4, just because of all that activity. All right, let's get it started. All right, so while that's loading, I'm going to get rid of you. Call sign tool, I'm going to stick you higher up just so it's easier for me to deal with. My goodness, those load times are terrible. All right, so first things first. I'm going to select the game, come down here. I don't know if that's the proper orientation for it, but I'm going to get rid of you. I think I need tag size down. And then here, I'm going to pull that out. All right. So you can see what I mean by the game. Normally, I'm sitting at a desk, like I'm sitting at a desk in this game, and I've got my monitors arrayed in front of me. Perfect.
American 2302 with information Mike. Requesting push and start.
Okay, so in this case where my keyboard is here on my desk, you can't really see it, but it's right in front of me on the ground here. With my keyboard there, that would essentially be where the strips are located now. Then off to the right where my mouse pad is, that would be this screen that gives me the comms information. Currently my headset's sitting over here where this screen is. I'm not quite sure what that one is off the top of my head. And then I've got the 1, 2, 3 monitors in front of me, though mine are staggered a little bit to cut down on the bezels. So for me, playing this in this way is a little bit trippy because I've got the 3 monitors and I don't have the same view. So I'm going to click on Add Window here at the bottom. And it always takes a minute. You can see now I've got this massive new window that popped up. I am going to resize this to fit kind of over here. And I want what? I want you. Now, again, this is just giving you an extra monitor where you can add things to it. How do I make it bigger? Okay. Doesn't seem to want to let me, there it goes. All right. Now, if you only have 2 monitors versus the 3 that I have, then you can, in theory, on this screen, just kind of mix and match. So you could put your ADIRS here, your D-Bright here, and your strips across the bottom. But I also like kind of being able to look around the airport and see kind of what's actually happening without having to do everything at once. So having this kind of overlay, I think, will be very helpful for me to continue operating. Now, I do want the POV now because I'm going to do something different with my camera. Nope, icon size is fine. It's tag size. I want a little bit smaller here. Okay, I'm going to drag you off to the side, and the tag size may need to go up a little bit since this is a bit blurry to me, which is weird. All right, so that's that. Now let's add the D-Bright in. Let's just start with the 2 instead of expanding out to all 3 monitors. So you can see now I've got my radar, my ground radar, and then in theory, if I resized my strips right, I could put my strips right here. This would be a great place to put them, but unfortunately that is really tiny, though it doesn't look as blurry as it does when I'm looking at this monitor, and that's kind of the effects that they put on it, which is really rough on the eyes for me. So I can see most of American, but this strip is too small. I'm gonna grab it. This size is overall good. I think like the airplane information needs to be a little bigger. The flight information is a bit too big. Everything else looks about right. So this size here looks good. Now, the problem with having my ground radar this size is that it makes it a little hard to actually see all the taxiways. You could see me doing that last time I played where I zoomed in a lot to look at which taxiways were which. Excuse me, once you know kind of the airport, then it's not as big of a deal, for you to kind of look around and figure some things out. So I asked the plane to hold short of Zulu here, and I think instead they took Victor, or they just took 17 down, I don't know. So Victor is my last taxiway, but if the plane's taxiing down Bravo, I need to make sure they don't take this shortcut, which isn't labeled in game, which means I would typically go look this up online through a proper ground map, which I could do and I will likely do at some point, but at the moment it's not really that critical to me. Now, orienting the airport correctly, as you can see here against the air, gives me a much better view of who's where and who's doing what, because now I can zoom in a little bit and still keep the bulk of the airport on my scope without as much issue as I'd had before. So I'm going to give it a shot like this. Worst case, all I would need to do here is do the extra window, and you see I've got it over here on the other side now, and it's cut off a bit. Let's bring it here. All right. And now on this one, I could essentially bring my strips, which is what I'd like to do preferred. Now you can see I can see a lot more of my strips. I've got more planes and more traffic. Alternatively, what I could also do with this, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one so that I can I could bring the strips down to keep them larger, but then I could stick one of my other radars over here. But in this case, I'm going to keep the strips there. I'm going to get rid of the strips off of here, and I'm going to make these just take up a little bit more space. Now the air radar I don't think I need a whole lot of, so I think I'll be fine to shrink that one down and kind of stick it over here in the corner. And then I can maximize my ground radar size. It doesn't really matter. Let's just bring it over. And we'll do the same for the deep red, I guess. And again, I still have 4 inches of monitor off to the left that I can utilize for this. So when I play normally, I will have this extended all the way out. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I exit out and come back in that this configuration is going to be there. And that's going to be annoying because if I have to redo all this every single game, that's going to be a huge hassle, and that's going to, again, impact the playability. I try to play games as a casual player, so I want to be able to jump in and get going. This game does not really allow that. We will find out if I can jump back in and do that, but I don't think that I can. So now, on this monitor, whoa, I don't know what the heck just went funky on me. There we go. Alright, so in this monitor, I don't care about being in the real airport here. I just want to be able to look out from, say, the tower's perspective and actually kind of see what's going on here. Just to give me a better visual of kind of what's going on at the airport. So I'll see the planes rotate and come off. It just, again, makes it feel a little nicer to play. Now I can still go back in. The problem is I'm going to have to reconfigure this. I don't remember if there's a shortcut to actually come up here and lock it in place, but I don't know. So let me go forward a little bit in time, get a couple airplanes both arriving and departed, and then we'll kind of see what it looks like. I'll probably just play this in fast forward for you so you can kind of see how things populate, and I'll pull the camera back out so you can see kind of everything at once as it happens. So with that said, here we go. All right, so we're back in. We've got some planes. I hope you enjoyed the video side of it. It is nice to finally see some of the nice little features that they added into this game, such as the cargo door closing, the pushback. All of that's so much more improved, and it makes it such a better experience now. American 2302, runway 04, line up and wait. Sadly, that plane died because they landed through the trees, but you can't get everything perfect.
American 2302.
And he's landing on all three perfectly versus, I guess there's a bit of a flare.
SkyWest 5602 with information, Mike. Requesting push and start.
SkyWest 5602, runway 04, pushback approved. Yeah. SkyWest 5602, pushback approved, expect runway 04.
Negative. We tried to push back by hand, but we failed. Please send the pushback truck. SkyWest 5602.
Yeah, that's gonna get me because he's not gonna stop yakking.
Pushback approved. SkyWest 5602.
LaGuardia Tower.
Oh, shut up.
Brickyard 5849er on final 04.
Brickyard 5849er, runway 04, cleared to land. Okay, you're turning off. This is what I really
Runway
need.
04, cleared to land. Brickyard 5849er.
American 2302, runway 04, cleared for takeoff. Let's try to get you
Runway
out
04,
because
cleared for
I'm
takeoff.
right there.
American 2302.
All right, let's get Endeavor rolling.
LaGuardia ground. Sierra Pacific 709er with information, Mike. Requesting push and start.
Endeavor 5294, taxi to apron via Romeo Papa Bravo.
Taxi to apron via Romeo, Papa, Bravo. Endeavor 5294.
Endeavor 5294, cross runway 13.
Cross runway 13. Endeavor 5294.
Sierra Pacific 709er, pushback approved, expect runway 04.
Ground 04. Pushback approved.
Why did all of
Pacific
these go up
709er.
here? American 2302, contact departure.
Roger, good evening.
LaGuardia ground. SkyWest 5602 ready to taxi.
SkyWest 5602, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. SkyWest 5602.
JetBlue 1231, runway 04, cleared to land.
Runway 04, cleared to land. JetBlue 1231. LaGuardia Tower, JetBlue 1231 on final 04.
Southwest 2531, taxi to apron via Romeo Papa. Southwest 2531, taxi to apron via Romeo. I want to see where he's going to
Taxi
go.
to apron by Romeo. Southwest 2531.
Southwest 2531, cross runway 13.
Cross runway 13. Southwest 2531.
Now, I would have liked to have gotten JetBlue out, but I just did not have time. Brickyard 4885, pushback approved, expect runway 04.
Ground 04. Pushback approved. Brickyard for 885. LaGuardia ground. Sierra Pacific 709er ready to taxi.
Damn it. Sierra Pacific 709er, continue taxi. I want to reorder these things.
Sierra Pacific 709er.
That is really not cool. I don't like that.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard for 885 with information, Mike. Requesting push and start.
Brickyard 4885, pushback approved, expect runway 04.
Ground 04. Pushback approved.
JetBlue 471, runway 04, line up and wait.
Runway 04, line up and wait. JetBlue
That is
471.
really not cool. So you can go up there. Who's next? Brickyard 4895, you're next.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard 561
Then
with information,
5712.
Mike. Requesting push and start.
LaGuardia Tower, Delta 23908 on final 04.
Brickyard 5611, pushback approved, expect runway 04. No, you are not next.
04, pushback approved. Brickyard
West
5611.
5602. Then I'm going to get you out. Then we're going to be 4885 and then 561. Let's get that done. Okay. JetBlue 471, runway 04, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 04, cleared for takeoff. JetBlue 471.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard for 885 ready to taxi.
Brickyard 4885, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Brickyard for 885.
Brickyard 5849er, taxi to apron via Bravo.
Taxi to apron via Bravo. Brickyard 5849er.
JetBlue 471, contact departure.
Roger, good evening.
Delta 23908, runway 04, cleared to land.
Runway 04, cleared to land. Delta 23908.
Brickyard 48905, runway 04, line up and wait.
Runway 04, line up and wait. Brickyard 48905.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard 5611 ready to taxi.
Brickyard 5611, continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Brickyard 5611.
LaGuardia Tower. Brickyard 5805 on final 04.
Brickyard 5805, runway 04, cleared to land.
Runway 04, clear to land. Brickyard 5805.
Brickyard 489, you're not ready yet.
LaGuardia ground. American 571 with information, Mike. Requesting push and start.
Come on, come on, come on. Brickyard 48905, runway 04, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 04, cleared for takeoff. Brickyard 48905.
JetBlue 1231, taxi to apron via Bravo. JetBlue 1231, taxi to apron via Bravo.
Negative. JetBlue 1231. Taxi to apron via Bravo. JetBlue 1231.
You're next, then my SkyWest.
LaGuardia ground. Brickyard 4660 with information Mike. Requesting push and start.
Nope. American 571, pushback approved. Expect a runway 04.
Ground 04, pushback approved. American 571.
Brickyard 48905, contact departure.
Roger, good evening.
Okay, you're going there. Brickyard 5712, runway 04, line up and wait.
Runway 04. Line up and wait. Brickyard 5712.
That's pretty dope.
LaGuardia ground. Endeavor 5265 with information, Mike. Requesting push and start.
Gonna wait a second. Brickyard 4660, pushback approved. Expect runway 04. Brickyard 4660, pushback approved. Expect runway 04.
Ground 04. Pushback approved. Brickyard 4660.
What? You need to delete one of these planes now. What? Hang on. Oh. Hey, wait a second. Okay, that's what it was.
LaGuardia Tower. Endeavor 5138 on final 04.
You stupid pilots. No, I'm calling them stupid, but the blame is totally mine. So, again, I changed my workflow. I got things done differently. I did tell JetBlue to taxi via Bravo. What I had thought they would do, let me zoom in here. I had thought that JetBlue would go to Lima. I didn't specify Lima, and I thought that would take them past Brickyard before they came in, because to me, cutting down here and then down would have taken longer than that route. I'm wrong in that, so that's totally my fault, but I still think stupid pilot, because JetBlue would have seen that plane coming and whatever. So that's on me for not giving them the Lima turn area by paying enough attention on the ground. But it was much easier for me to find my mistake and call that out. So unfortunately, I got to kill JetBlue. And the bigger problem is that I now need to do the zoom in and all that, which I'm not going to do this time. I don't want to replay the same session that I've already played all over again. But I think what this does is it really does highlight how important it is to have everything visible to you. So having this main monitor dedicated to me actually being able to look out the window made it much more efficient for me to see when I could get these planes lined up on the runway, because the other plane was landing. Hey, go ahead and get started. The plane lands, that plane's on the runway. Boom, that plane's off the taxiway, you take off, and then they're airborne. Much, much more efficient. My stack up is nowhere near as bad as it was last time. I'm much more efficient at that. I'm much, much more cognizant of what's going on with the strips. You see, I even had time to reorder the strips, because for some stupid reason they were sticking them all on departure 1-3, but I was able to go back through and fix it to the actual departure order that I was running through here based on when I pulled them off. So that was a huge help to me, being able to push that around in the line a bit. Now, I wish I could simply drag you and move you up. I don't know why I can't do that, but hey, whatever. The fact that I was able to do that is very impressive to me. And then the fact that I was able to keep track of where my planes were was better. All my handoffs were much better. So being able to look at this was great, but my focus this time was down here where I'd had some issues last time, as well as right here on the departures. So two things I should have done with JetBlue. One, I should have told him to cross at Lima where I actually wanted him to go. It showed me his route, but I was already moving on to get the next plane lined up because another one was landing. So that's me. And then when he was driving here, I should have seen him start to turn, and I could have held this one or something, because this one possibly could have headed up Lima. I don't know. Anyway, totally my fault. But again, it speaks to the power of being able to actually see what you're doing in the game instead of relying on a single screen. You can play in a single screen, but this experience was so much better. And the slower voices still really get on my nerves, but it didn't impact me at all as much as it did before, because I was able to do other things at that point. So I definitely recommend this. So the first thing I want to do right now is I'm going to exit back to the menu, because I'm done. You can see it closed my windows on the side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump right back in, no changes to anything. And I want to see if it will remember my layout. If not, then I'm going to be super cheesed off, because that's going to be a massive annoyance to have to come back in and reconfigure that every single time that you play the game. That's going to be really brutal. But I'm sure I'll get a workflow down, and it'll be easy to pop out, move this, move that, and kind of do that while I'm playing the game. It's just another annoying little thing that is pawned off on us to do. Sure, we have options to configure things, but there's so much work that's put on us in that, when it could have been designed much more simplistically within the game engine itself. But all right, so we're doing the final load here. I'm betting it doesn't work. Hey, I'm right. So that just means I have to click the add window button, wait, and then resize everything. So annoying, unfortunate, but I kind of figured that was the way it was going to go. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was pretty fun and enjoyable. I don't think it captured my last quick game, because I don't recall making... oh, duh. This is all time. I'm looking at that totally wrong. It was over here. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, found it interesting. It's a new way to play. I am not going to play by recording my whole desktop for you, because that's just too much work in both editing and in game to focus on everything. I am merely just going to record the game itself, and what happens is when I click on a different screen, different things are going to happen. So I'm going to see how that looks. I think it's going to be kind of unfortunately lame, simply because it's going to I'm typically going to spend my time over on that monitor where my ADIRS was and my D-Bright. That's what I watch and deal with a lot. Then I'm going to cut to my strips, and occasionally I'll pan my central monitor to look at something, but I'm going to be seeing everything, whereas you're only going to see a little bit of it. So I don't know how it's going to work, but I want to try it, and let's see what happens. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.